Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Carl Goldman.
On your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of enhancing quality of life, we have Susann Nelson, who's the Support Services Manager for the Santa Clarita Valley Senior Center. Welcome. It's good to see you again. I just saw you yesterday.
Thank you, Barbara. It's always good to see you. And Carl, wonderful to see you.
So what's on the docket today?
Well, I'd like to talk about our big fundraiser of the year. We only have one fundraiser at the Senior Center, and it is our Celebrity Waiter fundraiser. And we've been doing that for about 20 years now.
Yes.
The theme this year is entitled Broadway Lights. It's Saturday, April 26th, and we still have, tickets and sponsors available. The title sponsor this year is Ridge, which is a unique wallet company. I believe Kevin's son is involved with that. And Visiting Angels.
Well, a wallet company
Yes.
that you put money in?
Yes.
That wallet?
That type of a wallet.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa. And he's the title sponsor, or they are?
Well, Ridge Wallet, his company is, yes.
Oh my goodness, how interesting. Are they out here?
I couldn't even answer that. But
Oh.
if you Google it, you probably could find out.
Google it. How do you Google it?
We'll
I'm
help.
not.
We'll have a remedial lesson for you, Barbara, coming up.
We'll help you. But the Senior Center is, the Senior Center is one of the largest providers in Los Angeles County for home-delivered meals. We provide about 2,400 meals a day, and about half of those come out of Santa Clarita, and the rest are in the Antelope Valley.
Yeah.
But as our funding was threatened this past year, and we made it through, but we don't know what the future's going to bring, the fundraisers especially help our Meals on Wheels program. The Senior Center alone offers about 30 different classes and activities, and our supportive service department, which I am the head of, we have a wonderful team of professional care managers that do counseling, support groups,
I belong to one of those. I love it.
Yeah.
Just love it.
crisis.
And of course, the Senior Center's come a long way, because the first time I met you, you were in an old module over off of Market Street in the old Senior Center building, which the city, by the way, is getting ready to purchase. Did you know that?
Wonderful.
Yes,
No,
they
what are
are.
they going to do with it?
Well, the city is just finally purchased. The Hart Park has been county owned as that building with the Senior Center, and the city purchased that, and sometime in July, it's targeted for July 1st, it will change hands, and the city will own the park, start managing the park, and they have all kinds of plans for both the park, the Historical Society over there, and more importantly, the Senior Center building and the module. There's talk of converting part of that over for veterans. There's also a talk about making part of that into an art gallery. And Barbara, what else do you know about
There's
that?
one other area. I don't remember. But
Well, we were also we were part of the Planning Commission's meeting last night as we are weaving our way to figure out construction next door to the studio. And over there is, right across the street from us, the parking lot, is Rafters. That happens to be the 12-step program that services close to 1,000 residents here in Santa Clarita, have saved many lives over the years. They've been around some 30, 40, 50
Oh, yeah, they
years.
have.
in
long
that,
time.
and that building was the original courthouse
Yeah.
and one of 13 buildings designated still as an official historical building here in Santa Clarita. I know, Barbara, you and I are becoming historical landmarks as well, but
I'm included in that.
but the building right now, according to planning in the meeting last night, is going to be torn down, unfortunately. But
Wow,
anyway,
that's
so now
amazing.
with
Yes.
Well,
I divert.
going along with the Hart Park, I used to love seeing the bison. Oh my goodness!
Lots of fond
Oh,
memories that I
lots.
have of that
Oh.
area. I
So
was there for
talk
30
about
years.
but talk, Suzanne, about the new building, which isn't so new anymore. You've been there how many years now?
Well, I think we're
Four
going
years?
on 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah,
Close
something
to
like
five.
that.
So
4
share,
years.
Share with us about the building. First of all, where is it?
We are located on Golden Valley. It's I wasn't going to retire till I got that room with a view that I have in the new building. I'm on the second floor.
Yes, and it's
No
beautiful.
bison. Miss the
No,
bison.
I'm
But it's a wonderful center.
So it's right by where Plum Canyon and Golden Valley merge, correct?
You go up Golden Valley, past the Starbucks, and up the hill, and then turn left onto Golden Valley, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful building.
Yes.
I go there every week. I was there yesterday.
I'd like to get back to the celebrity waiters because it's so important. This year, we need to raise $900,000 a year to keep all of the activities, going. So we're really looking forward to this year's celebrity waiter. Like I said, it's Broadway Lights. I'm sure there'll be a lot of glitzy people there. We have a headliner for the event. He is Michael B. Levin. He's a singer and actor, and he's going to be presenting the best of Broadway from the Bellavita stage. Our meals will be prepared by our culinary team at the Bellavita with an executive chefs, Cindy Smith and Marco Rios.
Oh,
The
and
co-
they prepare delicious meals.
Yes.
Oh, they do. I have them delivered to my home twice a week, and I go there once a week to eat. And the
They are
foods
very
are
good.
delicious. The food is very, very good. Very good.
So our co-chairs this year are Jackie Hartman and Charlene Johnson, and they've really put together a fun night under the Santa Clarita skies with the emphasis on Broadway Lights. We
Hopefully
have,
lots of stars, too.
yes, Melanie Myers will act as an MC, as will Ed Masterson, and he's involved every year. We really do
Yeah.
appreciate them. The live auction items include vacations in Hawaii, New York City, and Africa. And one of my favorite events for the night, fundraisers, is the GoFundMe category. And that is the donations are given to people who are in need, and it's funneled through our supportive services department. So if somebody needs a new sink, needs to have a new refrigerator, or just can't afford their medication that month, we will assist with that through that program. And this year, we're honoring some of our incredible volunteers and our staff who made heroic efforts during the Hughes fire. And a little later, I'll talk about the wildfires, but during the Hughes fire, it was terrifying. You look out our windows at work, and you could see this huge, billowing, dark cloud of smoke. And people who lived in Castaic, were immediately frightened. But not very long after that, an hour or so after that, we got a call from the Castaic Senior Apartments that they had evacuated all of the seniors, but there were 19 that were refusing to leave. They didn't have transportation. They just didn't want to leave. So when we got two of our buses ready and drove out there, and the traffic was horrendous.
Oh, yes.
And we were able to assist. The police had said you must leave, and so they were ready to go when we got there. So we loaded up the 19 people, 2 dogs, a cat, and a bird,
Oh,
and
my
took the-
goodness.
and took them to the Red Cross Emergency Center at, I think that one was at COC.
Well, it kept shifting. So
Yeah.
the emergency center during that fire went
It
to three
did.
different places.
Yes,
yeah.
it did. Fortunately, we had a police escort so we could get through the number of people that were trying to evacuate. So we were very pleased to do that. I think they were there for a couple of days, and we provided lunch to them while they were there at the center, and then returned them home safely.
Speaking of fires, Susann Nelson, you and I started working together, believe it or not, it was 21 years ago. 2004, Barbara, if you want to hear this story. So we had set up the Disaster Coalition with my wife, Jerry, and
Yes.
a Santa
I
Clarita
remember that.
resident, Diane Green. And it started with floods and then later fires and tunnel explosions, August
all
shootings. and
kinds-
it's-
oh,
Santa
we
Clarita
had-
Disaster Coalition still exists. But early on, we had many cases of people losing homes, and Susann, you and your team were instrumental in being caseworkers for them and helping out, making sure to determine what their needs were and leading them to the right resources.
That's right. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the wildfires, the other wildfires, and how effective the senior center has been in responsive to disasters in the past. And I did a little time log the other day. It started in 1992. We did, the executive director at the time and a van driver took 100 meals to the people that were impacted by the Rodney King riots. So they drove, because the normal vendors could not get through to the senior centers there to feed people. So whether it was foolish, heroic, or very well needed, I'll let you decide. But
Very well
And then in
needed.
1994, we had the earthquake. Our dining room became a Red Cross center. Seniors were evacuated from one of our low-income buildings, and they stayed on cots until they could relocate them to a more permanent location. And we
And
also
that's
fed,
the old senior
the old
center that we
senior
talked
center.
about over on Market
Right.
Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
and we also fed the first responders during that crisis. And then there was COVID. We were told we had to lock our building, and only essential workers could come to work. And lo and behold, the next day, we were able to set up a drive-through and provide a safe venue for people to still pick up their meals.
Yes.
In January, we got the call from our primary funding agency, and that's the Department of Aging and Disabilities, that we were needed at the wildlife relief centers for the Eaton fire victims. You know, at that point, we didn't hesitate. We went and to try to provide, the assistance needed. And this, in my 75 years, has been the most enormous. It boggles the mind how enormous this current disaster is. The people we were dealing with and still are dealing with, were overwhelmed with extreme disbelief, anger, despair, distrust. People started the scams. And they didn't, even the legitimate people reaching out, they weren't convinced at first. So we're dealing with about 62 individuals, providing them with essential, such as durable medical supplies, our walkers and canes we can't do without. In a fire, everything's gone. Food, clothing, cell phones, computers, little tablets, so they're able to deal with all of the things they need to apply for. And the hygiene things, just everything was gone. But we were extremely fortunate that we were able to, because we have a care management program that we can provide up to $825 a year. Well, that's a drop in the bucket for somebody who's just lost everything. We were able to get a a grant from the Vons Albertsons Foundation for $50,000 that is going to go directly to these wildfire victims. And with that, we can probably pay for month's rent, help with mortgage, and we're able to do more than
That's a
just
big
the-
help.
We're so pleased.
$50,000.
We were so
Whoa.
pleased.
That's wonderful.
I would
So
like.
even though the senior center, I know for the disaster coalition, we focus on Santa Clarita and try and stay within the boundaries of the valley. But it looks like in your case, you stepped outside the boundaries.
Outside of this valley, but one of our care management programs is for the entire 5th supervisorial district, of which
Includes
that
part of
includes
Antelope
part
Valley.
of that.
Yeah.
So anything within Supervisor Barger's
Yes,
district
yes.
is under your jurisdiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
But people are people and they need help in a
That's
disaster,
right.
no matter where they live, and we were happy to be able to do that. And if I'd like to give one, I don't know if there's time, quick little story about one of a couple of victims that we've helped so far. The care manager, this person came because of the result of the Eaton fire, but the care manager described him as saying, with only the clothes on my back as he evacuated in the middle of the night. He's 67 years old, never applied for Social Security or Medicare, felt he didn't need it because he lived with 2 houses and a single-car garage, and he'd rent out one of the houses, and that was his income. He lived off of the rental income. So we helped him. Oh, the other thing that was incredible about this is he had missed by 1 week paying his homeowner's insurance that month.
Oh,
and
my
he wasn't
goodness.
aware till the fires hit that this had happened, and we're not sure how that's going to turn out, but no insurance. But he hopes to rebuild or make the garage livable, because that's the only building on the property that didn't burn, and make it a single-unit place and live there while the rest of his properties are, rebuilt. So also, we had to provide him, he has a disability and needs special shoes, which he'd purchased 3 new pair just prior to the fire. So
And
we're
they were
able to
burned.
provide him with a few tools and 3 new pairs of shoes to help him, get going and help him to replace his identity documents, because that's a must when you're applying for all of these things. But
Yes.
he was very grateful to his care manager, and he described him as being a real unexpected asset and expressed gratitude towards the senior center during this time.
And I know over the years you've helped so many people in crisis, and the thanks goes way beyond just what you said, Susann Nelson.
Oh, thank you. And then there was another one who came to stay with their family in this community because their home and the senior center that this man attended burned down as well. And he was attending the daycare program at that center. So we were able to find him a spot in our daycare center, and the wife said she hadn't seen him smile since the event, because he was with other people, and we were happy to do that.
Tremendous. KHTS Radio, your hometown station. We're chatting with Susann Nelson, who's Chief Program Officer at the Santa Clarita Senior Center. And you're going to want to check out their big fundraiser coming up, Celebrity Waiter. And information, I'm sure, is on your website, right? Which is
Yes, let's-
scvseniorcenter.org.
That's right.
scvseniorcenter.org. For that Celebrity Waiter, which is a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to participating in that.
Good.
Yeah, and that's April 26th,
Yes.
Saturday. Wonderful, wonderful.
I'll share one funny story about Celebrity Waiter. So Marjorie Post, does that name ring a bell?
Yes, it does.
She was the wealthiest woman in the 20th century. She had inherited the whole Post cereal and Post. Remember
That's right,
Postum?
yes,
That was
yes,
Postum
yes,
was named
yes,
after.
yes.
Anyway, with our KHTS DC trip, we've made a couple of journeys to her estate, and she was the queen of Washington in the 20th century, would host the Kennedys and everyone else in these very, very elaborate dinners. But and she'd have this china from Russia that was Catherine the Great's china, and she would serve everything with a menu, but the dessert was always on Catherine's china would be Jell-O because she owned Jell-O. How funny is that?
I love
maybe you
Jell-O.
can add that to the
That's a
celebrity
nice
waiter.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can add that to the celebrity waiter menu, okay? And Barbara, what color Jell-O would you go for?
Raspberry.
Okay, raspberry, good. Well, anything other than grape is okay with me. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll be talking with Pastor Jerry Cook in a couple minutes. Susann Nelson, thank you so much. And once again, Celebrity Waiter, scvseniorcenter.org, here on your hometown station, KHTS FM 98.1, AM 1220.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Carl Goldman, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And after our break, we have a new guest, Pastor Jerry Cook.
Well, I feel like I'm between a spot of tea and bagels and lox.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I had a lot of traffic to get here, and I probably should have left a little earlier. However,
Well,
Here you are.
you're
I
doing
got here.
fine.
I got
And
here.
I love your jacket.
it's my smoking jacket, yes.
Your what jacket?
My smoking jacket.
You don't smoke.
You're right, but if I did, this would be my smoking
But
jacket.
it's beautiful.
Well, thank you very
my
much.
Goodness, look at that.
Did you win that in the lottery?
No, I wish I had won that in the lottery. But well, it's good to be on the Senior Hour, even though technically I'm about 7 more years from being one.
7. Oh, you poor child.
Yeah, that's true.
So Pastor Cook, you have been in charge of Freedom's Way Church, Baptist Church, for quite some time. Talk about the church, first of all. Why don't you give us some
Well, thank you,
background?
Carl, for that privilege. Yes, this coming March, actually, we're in March now, March 30th, we'll be celebrating 23 years in Santa Clarita.
23?
Yes, I had much more hair 23 years ago. And I didn't have this smoking jacket, by the way. So we began March 14th, 2002, and we were in a community center over off of Orchard Village, over by Valencia Meadows Park, where we met in the community center for about 5 years. Then we moved over into a small white church building over off of 15th Street and Railroad, I guess
Yeah.
it would still be
Yeah.
called Railroad today.
I remember that.
Over there by a kind of a rental place right there, just on the other side of the rental place. We stayed there for 7 years. Then we transitioned over to a storefront over on Sierra Highway, kind of on the older section of Sierra there, kind of like where Skyline Drive is just kind of pushed through. And so we were there for 5 years, and then we didn't have a place for about 3 to 4 months. Then we transitioned into the building that we're currently in right now, which is, of course, you're both familiar with. So it's been 23 years. I cannot believe that it's been that long. But when we started, we didn't have kids. Now we got 3. When we started, we didn't have a home. Now this is our second home. And so when we started here also, the population of Santa Clarita was under 200,000, but it's not now.
Oh, really?
And now it's well over 300,000 if you count the whole valley.
Well,
It is huge.
Every mountain you look at, it used to be green. Now it's covered with white top, black top houses. No matter where you look, when you're coming down the freeway, I said to my son the other day when he was coming back, we were coming back from the valley, and I thought, I remember when all of those mountains were completely green. Now they're full of houses.
I was just thinking about that the other day when I was driving across Plum Canyon, and where Skyline comes in there, and all those homes were not there. Neither were the restaurants and the gas stations and the other stores that are there currently now. But yeah, at one point years ago, there was a deer crossing sign there on Plum Canyon, and now we have to avoid Dr. Harleen Graywall coming from across the street. So anyway,
Yeah, well, my street, Cedar Valley Way, used to go right up into the mountains, and I used to drive the motorcycle up there. My kids would say, "Come on, Mom, you can make it. You can make it." You're taking the motorcycle up the hill, and that was what is now Sierra Highway.
you've been around here a
14,
long time,
14.
haven't you?
Yeah, I've lived here since '69.
Hence the senior hour.
Yeah.
Speaking of seniors, talk about the senior community at your church, Pastor Cook.
So we have what I consider a healthy group of every group. We have young people. When I say young people, I'm talking 15 and below. We have a healthy group of younger people that would be 20 and to 45. And then we have what I would consider a pretty healthy group of seniors as well. The way I look at this is the young people are the future of our church and our country. Mm-hmm. And the older folks are the ones who pay the bills, and the folks in the middle are the ones who work, the ones who do all the things there at the church, get things done, keep the property looking good, and what have you, teaching Sunday school classes.
Well, the seniors also can share
They do.
history.
They do. In fact, I would. There are several seniors in our church that have been with us, almost the 23 years that we have been established here in Santa Clarita. But we also have a pretty decent group of young people that have come in the last few years as well, and we cherish them all, and we do our best to. The way I like to put it, Carl and Barbara, is I want to be able to see you born. I want to marry you. I want to bury you. That's what I'd like.
Interesting.
I'd like you to stick with us until the Lord takes you
Yes.
home. So.
Yes.
And you have a card right in front of
I
you
do.
for Easter Sunday. We'll let you do a shameless plug for
I
that.
have a card in front of me. I have done more than just come with my voice. I have come with an invitation to our Easter Sunday services, which of course are just around the corner. And I know that Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday is a big, big particular holiday for all of the Protestant churches here in Santa Clarita. And I know you have many choices, but I'd encourage folks to come out. Easter Sunday is just around the corner, April 20th. We have two services to offer that day, 9:15 a.m. and 10:30 a.m., which is our main worship service. You can find us on freedomswaybaptistchurch.org, freedomswaybaptistchurch.org. They're wrong on there. That was wrong. That is absolutely wrong. My folks who printed that up made an error, Barbara. And you know what I think you should do? I think you should go all British on them.
You naughty girls and boys. Naughty.
And so for those of you that want a traditional service where, there's no rock and roll, there's no fog machines, there's no hoopla, then if you want something like that, then I'd encourage you to visit us at Freedom's Way Baptist Church, April 20th.
But you talk about traditional, but you really tie in politics as you do. We're about to go into a political show with you in a couple hours, but you tie politics into the church as well, and make it entertaining but thoughtful. How did that come about? How did that evolve?
Well, I'll tell you what, it goes all the way back to the beginning of the church 23 years ago when I was driving down the 210 freeway with a pastor friend of mine. And he asked me while we were driving to a meeting, he says, hey, we're excited about the church you're going to start up in Santa Clarita. What are you going to name the church? And I said, well, I don't want to name it First Baptist Church because there's a bunch of First Baptist churches. I don't want to name it, Liberty Baptist Church or Lighthouse Baptist Church. There's all kinds of those around. I wanted to somehow incorporate my love for the Lord and the Bible with my love for my country. And so I believe, providentially, the Lord gave me Freedom's Way Baptist Church. Now, there are Freedom's Baptist churches out there, but and I've seen Freedom Baptist Church as well, but I've never seen a Freedom's Way Baptist Church. So we trademarked that name, and so we designed our logo, which I think is on here if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's on the front there. We designed our logo to kind of look like a flag with a cross in the middle. And a lot of people would say, well, Pastor Cook, you must be one of those darn Christian nationalists. Well, I guess I would be more in line with being a Christian nationalist than I would be a secular nationalist or a pagan nationalist. If you were to ask me, I'm going to obviously have a bent for biblical Christianity, so therefore that's what I would want. But at the same time, to answer your question, I do tie in politics, Carl, because I do not think personally that I can divorce my personal religious convictions from what I see as common sense issues. Like, for instance, when the president assumed office a few weeks ago, one of the declarations he made was a declaration that we all believed until about 5 minutes ago, that there are only two biological sexes, men and women. None of us in this room believed anything different prior to the woke mania that took place in the country about a decade ago. And so, yeah, I advocate for not just the biblical notion of one man, one woman, but the common sense notion that every one of us in this room believe.
And of course,
common
we could spend hours here talking about some of the nonsense that has taken place over the last.
And why would we
decade.
want to do that on the Senior Hour when I can do that on Politics in the Pulpit, airing here on KHTS Hometown Station at 2 o'clock on Wednesdays with your holy host.
But speaking of politics, you also bring a number of political people on both sides of the aisle to your church to speak and to be guests. You have one coming up who is going to announce his candidacy for governor.
Absolutely. In fact, if I could back up slightly, today on the show, just to give another shameless plug here, Barbara, don't hit me with your teapot.
Well, it's not exactly a teapot.
I'm sorry.
But
Well,
it would hurt if
oh,
I
is that a flask?
got
Did you
water
start
in it.
drinking again, Barbara? What's going on?
Yes,
Did
snake
you want to?
oil.
Did we want to take communion?
Snake.
So a week from this Friday, which I believe is March 28th, at 7 p.m. on the campus of Freedom's Way Baptist Church, we will have Sheriff Chad Bianco, Sheriff of Riverside County, who announced his candidacy about 3 weeks ago. He will be there for a meet and greet. Now, I personally am not endorsing him, nor is the church endorsing him, obviously, but it's just a meet and greet just to figure out who this guy is. Today on the show, on Politics in the Pulpit here on your hometown station, we will have a lesser-known candidate for governor by the name of Daniel Mercury. And he actually...
Where have I heard that name?
I don't know, but maybe Freddie Mercury. We are the champion.
Oh.
Yeah, Queen. Anyway, that was back in the 70s. So evidently another one bites the dust with you. All right, so regardless of that, though, I do believe that it is incumbent upon churches to bring elected officials, whether they share our faith value or not, to come and be responsible and explain their positions to the people, because obviously evangelical Christians vote just as much as pagans vote. And so we've had the DA of Los Angeles, Nathan Hochman. We've had Jonathan Hatami, who, of course, ran for DA and then, of course, has been appointed by Hatami. We've had several candidates here locally, and we will continue to do that.
And locally, you have city council, school board members who really run the gamut.
We run the gamut. We actually have some folks in our church that are part of the California GOP. I think you know my friend and your friend Mark Hershey and others as well. And so it is just ironic to me that the Lord just kind of put these guys in our congregation, and it allows our influence. In fact, just one last thing. Last weekend for the California GOP in Sacramento, a lady that attends our church, not a member, but attends our church pretty consistently, ran for vice chair. She didn't win, unfortunately, but she ran for vice chair. It just goes to show you how the Lord has cobbled together quite a group there at Freedom's Way.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
amazing. It really is.
We're
Wow.
speaking with Jerry Cook, who is the pastor of Freedom's Way Baptist Church. Easter Sunday taking place, of course, Easter Sunday, third Sunday in April, sandwiched in between the Cowboy Festival here and our KHTS Home and Garden Show the last weekend in April. And talking about politics, one thing that has impressed me over the years is you have definitely invited people from the other side as well to both your church and to your radio show. You've had David Barlavi, you had someone from Lancaster who happened to be
An atheist.
An atheist.
Yeah.
You've had the mayor of Burbank, who
Mayor Constantine. Yeah.
Mayor Constantine, who decided to get paddled by. We're
Yeah,
gonna
that
skip
was exciting.
part.
Yeah.
Wait,
Too bad
wait,
we don't have
wait.
a visual for that.
Get paddled?
He got paddled. I'll tell you afterwards. In fact, I'll even demonstrate it to you. So I believe in free speech, and I think that biblically speaking, if you go back to our origins here in America, Baptist and Presbyterians, both of those denominations were very instrumental in the lives of our founding fathers. And both of those denominations believed, as we do now, in the ardent support of free speech, even if it's speech we do not agree with. So I've had David Barlavi, and we'll have him again. I've had Steve Hill, atheist. I will have him again. I will have people that are of opposing political viewpoints. Doesn't matter to me. I am very confident in what I believe, and I have no problem in having a discussion with somebody that is of the opposite side of me.
Well, that's what's impressed me is that you can have a civil conversation with so many of those, and yet we've watched over the years you've been part of the KHTS family that you've been attacked maliciously by the other side and taken totally out of context. So how do you weave around that? Does it bother you?
Well, considering we only have one more minute here, let me just say this. I live by one philosophy. If it's a secular philosophy I live by, here it is. There's only one thing worse than being talked about, and that's not being talked about. Free press is free press.
Yes,
So if
that's right.
something negative is being said about me, they're still talking about me.
Well, we're about to take a short commercial break. Maybe Pastor Jerry Cook can demonstrate the paddle on Barbara while we take a short break here on the Senior Hour, KHTS FM 98.1, AM 1220, your hometownstation.com.
Is your child ready for something different? Discover iLead Online, a tuition-free online charter school serving students of all grades in Southern California. Our teaching teams see your child for who they are and develop customized learning that complements their strengths and interests for a unique and supported educational experience. Our flexible curriculum allows students to focus on the passions that drive them while developing academic skills to prepare them for a lifetime of success. Learn more at ileadonline.org.
Aloha, friends. Go check out Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brew coffee. What makes their coffee special is how their organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. They're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha.
Your hometown station.
Our news team at KHTS is constantly working to keep you informed. If you want the latest and greatest information on the Santa Clarita Valley, just sign up for the KHTS newsletter. SCV News delivered directly to your email inbox every weekday by 5 p.m. and a special weekend edition on Sundays. All it takes is an email address and you're set. Go to hometownstation.com to register.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
If you're in need of physical therapy, check out Focus Physical Therapy. Owner and therapist Adam Laraway has the latest in cutting-edge technology, introducing the Newbie, the ultimate in neuromuscular re-education. The Newbie can help you heal up to 70% faster and was FDA cleared in September 2017. The Newbie uses pulse direct current, which mimics the same neurological signals the brain uses and allows the therapist to identify those signals with 100% accuracy. Newbie can even help improve your sleep while tackling issues with neck, knee, and shoulder pain, sciatica, and arthritis. It can accelerate your fitness progress, which means better results in less sessions. Get stronger quicker. Why not use the same technology that the Dodgers and the LA Clippers use? Focus PT, located on Peachland off Lyons in Newhall. Call 255-4205. Go online at focusphysicaltherapyscv.com.
KHTS salutes our veterans who sacrifice for our freedom through inspirational stories on our Hometown Heroes page on hometownstation.com, thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. We're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Visit hometownstation.com, sponsored by Eternal Valley.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host Carl Goldman on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And we have the honor now of speaking again with Pastor Jerry Cook. So good to see you in that beautiful jacket you're wearing.
Thank you. And by the way, for those of you that are viewing on Facebook, I'm the one that's not the senior.
But that jacket has a funny story. So you went to see Don Rickles. How many years ago was that?
I went to go see Don Rickles back in, 2015. It was a couple years before he had passed. And I had
here in Los Angeles, not in Las Vegas.
No.
Even though what you're wearing would work well in Vegas.
It would work well in the Sands Casino in 1965. No, I had always wanted to see Don Rickles. I like the style of insult humor, even though he himself didn't believe any of the insults personally. But that was his style.
Yeah.
And I had determined that I wanted to see him before he passed. And I got the privilege about 2 years prior to him passing, went down to the Saban Theater with some mutual friends, and we just had a great time. And the idea was to kind of dress retro, kind of a throwback. And so this is where this jacket, for those of you that are watching on Facebook Live, this is where this jacket comes into play.
And where did you get the jacket?
I don't even recall. I think it might have been secondhand, to be honest with you. It fit from off the rack, and the only thing I had done was I had the sleeves shortened a bit, and thankfully I haven't gotten fat in the last several years. So
It's an absolutely gorgeous jacket.
So I'll challenge you, Pastor Cook, since 2 weeks after Easter Sunday, we're just going to be prior to the April Fool's weekend, which falls on a Tuesday this year. So maybe you can wear that jacket to do your sermon prior to April Fool's.
You know what? Challenge accepted, Carl. As long as you show up that Sunday to make fun of me, all right? I think that'll be good. Or to root me on, either way. So, but it's been my privilege today. This is like my third, fourth, or fifth iteration here on the Senior Hour.
Oh, yes.
And there was a little debate about whether or not I would come on and co-host with you, but I knew, Barbara, you couldn't handle me.
I couldn't handle
You couldn't handle me.
What do you mean by
All
that?
this youthfulness sitting next to you, this vibrancy.
Are you saying I'm old?
Not at all. I think you're the goodest, best-looking chick I've seen in a long time.
Well, I would love to co-host with you. So what would that be, once a month?
Whatever Carl wants, because Carl's the boss, and married to another one of those bosses.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, actually married to the bigger boss.
The bigger boss.
Wow.
Even though she's smaller, she's the big boss.
Well, she's Italian, so she trumps us all. No pun intended.
So there are so many different choices for worship here in Santa Clarita. What makes you stand out? What's different about Freedom's Way?
If I could be so bold, I believe the Bible has application to you right now in the 21st century. And I try to take these accounts from the Old Testament, accounts from the New Testament, 2,000 years ago for the New, 3,000 to 4,000 for the Old Testament, and make them very applicable in the here and now. You know, what is Moses? What does Moses from 4,000 years ago have to say for us today? What is the account of David and Goliath that we all heard in a Sunday school or perhaps our parents talking about? Why does that have application for us today? And so I try to take those accounts and make them very applicable in the here and now. And I think a lot of churches kind of miss out on that.
Yeah, in fact, I listened the other day to a story that you have your sermons here on KHTS broadcast at 8 a.m. on Sundays, and I got to hear the story of Samson.
Wonderful.
From there, and was really a nice tie-in between history and religion as well.
Absolutely. And that's what we try to do. And thank you for that question, Carl, because a lot of churches miss that point. Church should not just be a glorified Bible study. It should be application to real life situations.
Absolutely. I could not agree more.
So you can live out your life understanding a biblical principle in the light of the here and now.
Yes, absolutely. And that's so important.
It is.
So,
Very
Pastor
important.
Jerry Cook, thank you so much. 2:00 today, your guest is going to be who?
Daniel Mercury running for California governor.
And we'll learn what his whole background is, because I've never heard of that name other than Freddie Mercury. So I don't think there's any relationship to him and Queen.
No.
We'll find out at 2:00. I
Absolutely.
guess.
Thank you.
Freedom's Way Baptist Church, Easter Sunday. Make sure you attend if you have a chance between 9:15 for their sermon then, or 10:30 a.m. April 20th. And 2 weeks later, Pastor Cook, maybe 1 week later, he'll be wearing this jacket as well. So
very
we'll
possible.
see that. But freedomswaybaptistchurch.org, not .com. Freedom's Way Baptist Church is the place to go for more information. 8 a.m. every Sunday, you can hear his sermon right here on 98.1 FM, KHTS or AM 1220, your hometown station. 2:00 today. Freedom's Way, Jerry Cook will be back with
Politics and the pulpit.
There it is.
Oh,
So
whoa. Say that again. I didn't
Politics and the pulpit.
with
I
some
must be
Don
going
Rickles
back.
as well. Your hometown station. Take it away, Michael Dollar.